Get ready, because a second stimulus package deal is likely to be announced in the next 48 hours. Hey, good morning, everybody. This is morning's LALATE. Wow, what a great morning to wake up to, with a second stimulus check deal about to be confirmed within a couple of hours, or no more than 4 to 8 hours. This is Wednesday morning, and this is LALATE Mornings. Thank you for joining me every morning at 8:30 Pacific Standard Time. This one's about the check. If you smell the toast popping up, if you smell that coffee brewing, then you're ready to go, as I am. Big news overnight. Thank you for joining me. The biggest news, in addition to our reporting last night, is this. Steve Mnuchin has now confirmed that a second stimulus package deal will be officially announced no later than Friday, if not earlier. Wow, we are finally at the finish line. So let me give you the details, and then I'll go to the backstory. First of all, a second stimulus check package deal was first announced and first revealed on this channel last Friday. We said a deal was in the works. It was near to be finalized. We were the first to report it. Then yesterday, more details came out that the deal is imminent. Then, after our report late yesterday on evenings, LALATE at 6:45 Pacific Standard Time, Steve Mnuchin then said more. He said, "We've already agreed that the second stimulus package deal will be announced to the public no later than this Friday, if not earlier." So, wow, everything I told you. I told you first, and here we go. So let's get to the details. The second stimulus check will be coming to you. It will be coming to you in the month of August, and the check mirrors what the HEROES Act had proposed. $1,200 will be landing in the hands or pockets of American citizens in the month of August to get them through the relief that they needed during COVID-19. It's not the multiple checks that a lot of viewers had wanted. It's not the $2,000 check that a lot of viewers wanted, but it's coming now, and it's coming fast. That is the great news. The Democrats had proposed $1,200 to all recipients. The Republicans have proposed $1,200 to most and $500 to dependents, which are people on other people's tax returns. Negotiations unfolded, and we have been reporting since last Friday that it's highly likely that the $500 will be tossed away, and it will be $1,200 to dependents. There is no confirmation about that, but that is highly likely where it's going to land. Now, this channel came to fruition back, really, we're only at day 95 of this channel, but this channel really picked up speed about 30 days ago, when we were the first to report to you that recipients of SSDI, SSI, Social Security, railroad benefits, and veterans benefits would get a check. No one was here watching out for you except me. I told you you're getting a check. And the reason why I told you was because both proposals said you would get a check. Now, what made this confusing for some viewers initially, but not anymore, was that the first stimulus package is different than this current second stimulus package. The first stimulus package didn't pay a check to adult dependents. Who are those? Those are a lot of the viewers of this channel who are on benefits. Those are people who are of adult age, older than 18 years of age, and appear on someone else's tax return as what's called a dependent. Under the first stimulus package, Congress made a mistake. They didn't give you a check. They called you ineligible. You weren't eligible for a check. The second time around, both the Republicans and Democrats said, we don't want that anymore. We made a mistake. We're going to give you a check. So I was the first to report over a month ago that everyone on SSDI, SSI, and Social Security, railroad benefits, and veterans benefits would get a check. It was confirmed. How do you know that? It hasn't confirmed. It hasn't been signed into law. We know it because both bills said it. No one's going to vote on something that isn't written. was proposed by both parties. So that was the great news. I was here championing for you and keeping you informed. And ultimately, there are some more stuff that you need to know that I'm going to keep repeating as to your ability to get the check, whether it's electronic or paper or doing a non-filer filing, or whether you're a multiple dependents on someone else's tax returns. There's more to the story, so you need to really stay with me, because just the fact that you are here in the United States does not mean you're going to actually receive a check. Sometimes you have to do something more, sometimes you don't. But the point is, you have to be informed if that's your scenario. And I will be updating you as we go along with this in the next couple of days, so don't leave me. Next, hazard pay. Boy, no one has covered hazard pay except this boy right in front of you with the brown shirt that looks sort of purplish this morning. No one has been covering hazard pay. And so ultimately the body of groups that I have been hating upon was one group, the broadcast news reporters. They have absolutely fallen apart and have not asked a single one of these negotiators, whether Steve Mnuchin or Mark Meadows on the Republican side, or Nancy and Chuck on the Democratic side, what's going on with hazard pay? Are you agreeing upon hazard pay? Well, as I sit here now, I literally have nothing more to go on, and I'm going to freely admit that. All I have is the absence of opposition. I don't have anyone saying in opposition to as a bee comes on the set. He's gone now. I have no opposition to hazard pay, which is reassuring, but ultimately I have no one saying anything about hazard pay. So I'm not going to sit here and say that hazard pay is in the second stimulus package and it's going to get approved on Friday. I just don't know. There's not enough for me to go on. All I'm going on is the lack of opposition being vocalized outside. We also have the very strong remarks by Nancy Pelosi that she was not going to take it out. If you're with me, please stay with me to the end of the video, because I'm going to have a personal message for all of you. Next, FPUC, that real easy to understand concept of a story for purposes of broadcast news that literally has been littered in every single news report across the nation. When they talk about a second stimulus package, they talk about FPUC because they understand it, and they really don't want to talk about more things that are complex like hazard pay or rent eviction moratorium. FPUC will get extended. It will get extended. I reported this last Friday. How do you know that? You don't know that. It hasn't been said. We know that because the president said it. The president said, I want to extend FPUC at $600 a week. We know that because other Republicans came out and said Mitch is out to left field. He needs to go back to Kentucky. No one wants $100 a week. No one wants $200 a week. We know that because there was literally reports everywhere, and I'm not going to repeat them, we've heard them enough from me, that no one supported Mitch's $200 or $100 or $300. So that was then. I said the deal is going to be formulated because why? Mitch is not in the room. How can he have anything to do with a deal if he's not in the room? He's not in the room. It's the president's people who are in the room, the president's men. Steve Mnuchin, his Treasury Secretary, who has been by his side this entire pandemic, and Mark Meadows, who's sort of a new guy on the scene, his chief of staff. Those are the people that the president put in the negotiation room. There's no senator or congressman in the room that is representing the Republicans. They're all cabinet members of the president. He's the one saying what he wants and how he wants it, because ultimately he's the one who signs the bill. So on last Friday, the president said, I support $600 a week, but only for 1 week. After that, I'll figure out what to do. I said, hey, it's confirmed. We're going to get $600 a week because you know what? All we're dealing with is the number of weeks of $600 a week. And that was then. Came Monday, there were more reports confirming there was $600 a week. No one saw it as $200 or $100 or zero. I mean, Mitch was originally at zero. Then yesterday came the really series of big news. It just sort of snowballed. First, and they're all reported on this channel except the ones that came late last night. I'll get to those right now. First, Nancy Pelosi said, hey, you know what? I'll show you my card. My card, for the purpose of negotiation, my card is I'll do $600 a week. I'm not getting off of $600 a week ever. But if the unemployment rate drops in the future, I'll get off of the number. We don't need it then. It's, of course, that's very logical. Everyone will agree to that. Everyone understands that. And it's exactly what Steve Mnuchin's been talking about. It showed where the negotiations were, that Steve Mnuchin was really having an issue that unemployment improves and we're still paying people $600 a week. Why are we paying people all this money? Very well taken. That's where the negotiations went. Then, later last night, after I stopped recording, the president came out and said that he would sign an executive order, ironically, exactly what I've been reporting for 2 weeks, that he would sign an executive order giving the American public $600 a week right now because they need it right now. They haven't been paid last week. They are not being paid this week. And that he said he'll only sign the executive order if there's not progress on the negotiations, but there is progress. Hence, he's basically telling you what's going on in the room. They're agreeing to $600 a week. Then there came this. I forgot about Mitch. I mean, not that he's an equation in this game, but he came out yesterday, right before my reporting, and said, "I will agree to $600 a week. I'm giving in." He basically said, "I'm giving in. I'll agree to $600 a week." Well, then came this. Nancy Pelosi said, "I think the number $600 is related more to the unemployment rate. If the number goes down, unemployment goes down, the number $600 a week can go down." Yesterday. McConnell, "If you're looking for a total consensus of Republican senators, you're not going to find it. We're going to have discussions about where to go," earlier yesterday. Then McConnell says we're going to agree to $600 a week. And finally came this. The president said, if you don't get the $600 a week done, I'm going to sign an executive order. We're looking at it. We're also looking at various other things. Things that I'm allowed to do under the system. Mr. President, I told you last week you could do this. You should have done it then. But that was that. Then came this last night, and this was in the middle of the night. Apparently, Steve Mnuchin told Broadcast News that he, quote, touted a commitment to reach an agreement on the second stimulus package by the end of this week, which is and they had to cite his, inconsistency. That last week he said the deal was going to be reached last week, but then Mnuchin says there is an agreement between him and Nancy on timeline. The deal this week, if they can make one, they will pass it this week, and then it'll become law next week. The reaction really settled in and was not helping Mnuchin at all. Senator John Corcoran, who's a Republican out of Texas, who a lot of people have talked about on the EIDL segment of this channel, he's a Republican. He said, if you don't get this done, and we're coming to Friday, and we're going on our vacation, which is basically they're going back to their home states to campaign for their reelection. He said, if we go back to our home states, we're going to be fried like toast. No one's going to vote for us because we left Congress without a deal. And we're like, hi, we're back. Vote for me. Oh, but I didn't do a deal for you. How do you think it looks for us to go back with this unresolved? This is the most important thing we need to be doing in election year. So that was that. Where are we? Then came eviction moratorium. It's going to be in the bill. There's going to be an eviction moratorium in the bill. There's nothing indicating that it won't be in the bill. The president says he wants it in the bill. Steve Mnuchin said that he wants it in the bill. Nancy and Chuck have it in the bill. So an eviction moratorium, mortgage forbearance, foreclosure forbearance, basically protection against property owners, protection for anyone who has a mortgage, anyone who is renting, all those wonderful protections. Student loan debts for federal loans will likely be in there, but may be modified. There'll also be money for states and local governments so that they could allocate that money to citizens for COVID-19 issues like rent. They're making their budget, paying their public servants. That will be in there. What's likely not in there, and what has held up this negotiations, as I have been reporting all week, was the stupid stuff, like the $3 billion federal building, Mitch McConnell's insurance liability provision, which absolutely was slammed everywhere across the board yesterday. I didn't go into it because it's like everyone hates it. So it's like, how many times I got to say someone hates a bill, hates a provision of a bill. So with that, you're all sitting back and say, okay, when is this going to happen, LALATE? Well, this is the backstory. The backstory is if an agreement is reached today, which it's not likely, it's more likely tomorrow, but if an agreement is reached today, and that's an agreement between Nancy, Chuck, Steve, and Mark, that doesn't give you a law. What they will then do, and they've actually said this, is they're going to then go to Congress and they're going to go to the Senate and they're going to pull the HEROES Act, which is currently in the Senate. It's a pass from the House. So it's past the first step, which is to pass the House. It now has to pass the Senate. It will be a revised version of the bill, clearly. It will then go up for a vote for the Senate. The statement by Mnuchin is that he's looking for a vote on the bill this coming Monday, okay? With that, the president, if it's approved on Monday, the president could sign it. Well, he could sign it on Monday, but the president would likely sign it into law on Tuesday. When would you get your money? And I got to tell you, here's the personal note. The personal note is that I could say something very simple like, the electronic funds, if you set up for electronic deposit for your second stimulus check, you're going to receive your funds about 1 week after this coming Monday. I could say that and you could be, okay, I'm going to mark my calendar, I'm getting my check. No, because it's not that simple. It's really not that simple. We have to know what date the Congress passes the bill. We have to know what date that the president signs this into law. You all keep on saying, I'm sorry. There's some people who jump in the comments and say, give me the check tomorrow. Does it mean it's coming tomorrow? No, because certain things have to, by law, be done first. It has to be signed by Congress, it has to be signed by the president, and then they have to send out the funds. And so what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be really here ensuring that you get your money, guiding you through the path to getting your money, especially whether it's hazard pay, whether it's PUA, whether it's eviction moratorium. The Hot Mess Express has not left town. Even when a deal is done, there's going to be a whole ramp up to ensure you get your money. Finally, a personal message. This channel started with me trying to get people, the very first days of video, the very first day, the videos I recorded were FPUC. It had not launched yet. And I called it PUA because PUA was just launching. EIDL loan, EIDL grant, PPP, and stimulus check. And at that time, there was no one out helping anyone to get their EIDL loans approved when they're stuck, getting their EIDL grants when they're stuck. I came to fruition. I came as a channel here for you because no one was helping people on EIDL. That really was a successful run because there was, we got $10 to $30 million in EIDL loan money for people that were due it but had not gotten it, but for technical difficulties, we solved for them. We solved incredible things. And about a month ago, I noticed that no one was sitting there and helping people on SSDI, SSI, Social Security, railroad benefits, and veterans benefits. No one was here helping you. And so like my EIDL viewers, there was no one helping you. No one was telling you you're going to get a check. I was telling you you're going to get a check. I'm telling you you're going to get a check because we had two parties that said you're going to get a check. No one was then explaining to you that this was different than the first time around. That the reason why you didn't get the check the first time was because they took out adult dependents. This time they won't be doing it. No one was here to help you. And so that's why I moved into this space to help people on SSDI, SSI, Social Security, and railroad benefits to ensure you get the check. Then hazard pay sort of snowballed, and no one was talking about hazard pay, whether it's broadcast news, paper news, print news, channels. No one was talking about hazard pay. No one was telling you whether you're an essential worker. No one was helping the frontline workers except me. And certainly the same thing is true for eviction moratorium. No one was out there explaining to you, as I've done the last couple of days, how important it is to know the day the eviction moratorium is passed. Because the day it's passed, you cannot be evicted. You save your home. You save your apartment. You are not thrown on the street. And that's the spirit of this channel. So a lot of people have asked me, where are you going? What's next, LALATE? I'm not going anywhere. The personal message is I'm not going anywhere. We have mornings LALATE, afternoons LALATE, evenings LALATE. I ask that you like and subscribe. You go to the front of this channel. There's a subscribe button. You hit the subscribe button. There's a little alert button with a bell. You hit the alert button. I'm not going anywhere. You haven't gotten your money yet. It's as simple as that. You haven't got your money yet. There's a fall election. There's going to be another stimulus package. Yeah, there is. I'm not going anywhere. Are you going somewhere? No. I'm going to ensure that you get your money. I'm going to be here for you. I'm going to be here to help you. I love you, and I'm here to the end. As always, stay up LA for more.